Hey everybody, it's Jason with Outdoor Adventures, and thanks for joining me. A lot of people have been asking me how I personally set up my tarp and some of the additions that I've made, so we're going to take a look at that. Now first off, this is how I store my tarp. I just keep it in a mesh snakeskin. You can also get it from Hammock gear, and then I wrap my lines around it, and this stays in the mesh pocket of my backpack. Now I like the mesh snakeskins way better than the Cuben sleeve that I had originally, because the Cuben sleeve, you almost have to turn it inside out whenever you get home, or else you get like a mildewy smell, and I didn't like that. So the mesh snakeskins allow the snakeskins themselves to actually dry out while you're setting up. Also, I'd like to point out that I have 4 MSR groundhogs in here with guy lines, and this is a Z-Packs Cuben fiber tent stake bag. So let me set up the tarp and we'll take a look at it. Now first I want to point out that I'm using a continuous ridge line on this tarp. Now I like this for a couple reasons, but let me show it off first. What you do here, and this is from Dutchware.com, you have this little hook right here that just wraps around the tree, connects to the line. You take the line all the way down to the other tree, wrap the line around the tree, and then you have this, it's called a Dutchware wasp. That line gets threaded through this little hook in its mouth, and then it's just locked down by the wing. And that doesn't go anywhere. You can pull, you can see this isn't going anywhere. And this allows you to make it really fast to set up, especially in the rain. It's very, very helpful to get one of these. If you're just starting out and you don't know a lot about knots, definitely go to Dutchware gear and purchase a continuous ridge line. Now another thing that I really like about this line is it has these little prusik loops on it, and that connects to the D-ring on your tarp. But what this allows you to do, say that you set up your hammock, you got your tarp, but it's not quite even with your hammock. So let's say your hammock is a little bit outside of this area and you need to move it down this way. What you can do is you can grab these with your fingers, and let's see if I can do this while holding a camera. But it allows you to move the line to center your tarp, and then I could go and tighten it on that side just by doing this. So see how easy that is? Okay. So that's very helpful. This way you don't have to, tie these 2 D-rings to the trees on separate lines and then realize that you're not centered and then have to retie it and loosen up one and lengthen up one. It's just a big time saver on this. So that's the only reason why I use this. Plus I feel like, I feel like it just gives the tarp more structural integrity, if that makes any sense. I don't know, I just like it. It's just a lot easier to use. And then here you can see I have the mesh snakeskin just kind of pulled back, and we can tighten that down to keep it out of the way. Here's what I did with the doors. So again, there's just a loop and it's just run through itself. In fact, let me take this off and I'll just show you how I did this. Okay, so I just took off the line that holds the door. And you can see it's just a piece of shock cord, okay? And what I've done here, and I'll just take this the whole way off so I can show you. Okay, so I got these little mitten hooks. Alright, I take one end, both ends have a loop, okay, just a simple loop. So I'll take one of the loops, thread it through the little loop on the mitten hook, and then I will just run it through itself and then back down. So see, just running it through itself. It's not a knot really, it's just a way to hold it on there. Alright, so now you can see that the mitten hook is attached to the shock cord. And then I'll just do it again on the tarp. I'll take the loop, run it through the D-ring, and then run the mitten hook through that loop. And that's just a way to hold it on there. It's not a knot really. It's just a way to get it attached. Okay, so there you go, it's back on. Each door has one of those little shot cord things with a mitten hook, okay? And I'll take the other door and I will simply just attach it to the mitten hook. And then that will keep the doors pulled back and the mitten hooks easily deployable while it's raining, which is a big deal for me. I don't even have to get out of the tarp in order to deploy the doors. Say it's raining, you don't want to go outside and get wet. I'd rather just do it on the inside. Plus, it just keeps the doors back and out of the way. I don't want to use these all the time, but I like it in windy and rainy weather or when it's cold outside. And they just go on like that. Real simple. Now, say I'm laying in my hammock and I get woken up by a storm and it's starting to really get crazy out there. What I'll do is I'll just take these mitten hooks apart, okay? And now the doors, you can kind of see what we're gonna do here. Take one of the mitten hooks and you go down to the cord or guy line, whatever you're using, and you simply just put it in there, okay? Just like that. So this door is back. And I'll do the same with the other side. Take it down, lock it in the shock cord, and now you can see we are closed in and protected from the storm. And I'll do that on both sides so I can show you how that looks. It's a little harder to do this with one hand, but we'll get it working. Okay, now you can see if there was a hammock in there, we'd be completely protected from any kind of wind or storm. Now while I'm thinking about it, the guy line I use is just simple zing it. You can get this pretty much anywhere. I just got a big spool of it on Amazon. I think I got like, I don't know, 150, 200 feet or something. And I have a little piece of loop on the D-rings, just a little piece of shot cord. Same way, just run the loop through itself and you attach it with this Dutchware hookworm. I like the hookworms because I like to be able to take the lines off my tarp so I don't have any, tangles whenever I pull it out of that mesh snakeskin. And all this stuff just fits in that Cuben fiber Z-Packs bag. Now we're looking at the side of the tarp right now. These, most of these bigger tarps, they have these little pullouts, so you can take it and get some more room inside or stop the wind from blowing in on the tarp. And what I've done here, and I'll take this off real quick for you. This is just a single piece of zing it. Ignore this little loop in the middle. What I've done is I've prussicked a little continuous loop right in the middle, and I'll show you why. So I can move this. I'm not going to take it all the way off, but you get the idea because I have a little knot on the end. I don't want to take it all the way off, but it's just a little loop, all the same stuff, and we're going to put it on that D-ring just like we did the shock cord for the door pullouts, and it just attaches that way. Real simple. Now what I can do with this, and I really like this, I can move this up and down, and say it's really windy, or say I want a little bit of extra room in the tarp. So most hikers are going to be carrying trekking poles already. So what I do is I like to take that loop that we saw with that prusik, put my trekking pole in there, come around to the other side, and again I have another loop on the back that I'll just hook onto the trekking pole. And move this up a little bit. Now you can see we have this pulled out without a tent stake, but with a trekking pole. So it works out very well. I really like this idea more than just carrying two extra ground stakes when I don't need it, and extra guy lines. This solution weighs practically nothing. I think it's like 3 grams, 4 grams, something insane. And it works out very well in high winds. It stops that tarp from blowing in on you and just getting on your nerves all night. So we'll do that with the other side too. Now when you're doing this, make sure you hold that the sharp end of your pole so you don't put a hole in your tarp. So you can see from the top what that looks like, okay? And you can see when we go inside the tarp that we do have a lot more room in here, okay? A ton more room, actually. Now, it does make this part of your tarp a little flappy, but not much. And you can even, I can even pull this down a little bit here to help fix that. And somehow a bug has managed to find its way under the tarp. I can't even believe it. Now, if you don't like the shock cord on the inside of your tarp, you can simply do the exact same thing I did, but on the outside of the tarp. And it even works with that little pole mod that I showed you. So it doesn't get in the way of it at all whatsoever. So if you like it on the outside, go on the outside. If you don't like it all, you don't have to do what I do. I'm just showing you the setups that I like. Now, I watch a ton of people showing off their setups similar to what I'm doing in this video, and I just get so many ideas from watching other people, and sometimes I come up with an idea and it just ends up working out. So, you know, watch a lot of people and their camping setups and their hiking setups, and, you know, tweak your own setup. If you think something's cool, by all means use it. Make your life easier. What I really like about the shock cord on the inside though, however, if you're laying in your hammock, you can have a place to dry out your socks or your clothes for the day. You know, it gives you some extra drying options, some hanging options. What I'll do, I'll just drape my socks and my pants and, you know, boxers and just throw them all on here. They can hold a decent amount of clothes between the two lines, and they're within reach in the morning. Whenever you want to put your socks on, they're going to be right there for you. So I think that works out great. So guys, that's just my setup. I'm not saying this is the greatest setup in the world or that you have to use any of these ideas that I showed you, but I think it might help some of the people that are requesting this video, first of all, and some of the people that have been asking me questions about the tarp specifically. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to tear everything down just like I'm getting ready to hike out in the morning. Now when I roll my tarp up, and I just started doing this, actually Spaguyver gave me this idea. What I do is I fold my tarp in half and I just start tightly rolling the tarp. Haven't heard of any issues with the fabric on this yet, but you know, time will tell. I don't think it would do anything though, I honestly don't. Just the nature of the Cuben fiber material. Okay. Alright, so I have this, and then I will take both of those lines, get it a little tight, and just start wrapping them up. And then I will tuck the line in on the bottom so it doesn't come out. Now for the groundhogs, I do like to leave the lines attached to the groundhog just so everything just stays together. So I'll take it and I'll like pinch the end of it where that loop is, and I'll just start wrapping it down the groundhog stake. Alright, so it looks like that. And the reason why I spread the lines out is so that it actually fits in this Cuben fiber tent stake bag from Z-Packs. Okay, and those all four will go in there. And that's all there is to it. That's just how I set it up. Not saying you have to go this route, but if you see anything or have any ideas of what I could do with my tarp, I'd love to hear about them. So please comment below in the description. Let me know what you guys do. What kind of tarp do you use? What kind of hardware? Do you use hardware? Do you like to stay with knots? It's all up to you, but I want to hear about it. So guys, thanks for joining me. Jason with Outdoor Adventures. I hope this helps somebody.